Thanks for coming. It's nice to see everybody here. So I'm Samantha Cross. I'm with the Women's Business Development Council, and I'm talking about funding and ways to get capital for your business, some creative ways, some not so creative ways, just ways that you can have capital infusion into your growing business. All of these women on the screen have gotten funding for their business through either WBDC or other means. So here are some inspirations for you if you'd like. Okay. So the WBDC, who are we? We are the Women's Business Center for the state of Connecticut. We serve female entrepreneurs to help them be better business owners. Our mission is to strengthen and support economic prosperity of women through entrepreneurial education and financial education that create and grow kind of the economic environment and community in Connecticut. We have offices, actually, let me go back. We have offices across the state, and we serve the entire state of Connecticut through Stamford, New Haven, New London, and Waterbury. How do we work with our clients? Well, we've been in business 26 years, and we've served over 18,000 clients. We help our clients through sort of education, training, business advising, one-on-one counseling, and things like that. So classes just like this. We cultivate community by we have a bunch of networking events. We know that entrepreneurship can be kind of a lonely game. So we, relish the opportunity to bring entrepreneurs together to both learn and just network in general. We invest in women entrepreneurs in the state of Connecticut. We do have a grant program. That grant program is open now through March 14th. So if you just want to go to our website, www.ctwbdc.org, you can find more about our Launchpad or our Ignite grants. And we advocate for women-owned businesses in the state through some legislative priorities and opportunities that come.
So program. I just finished it.
Which one?
For starting new business.
Oh, yeah, like the Launchpad and the GPS. Yeah, we have a lot of ways to educate women-owned businesses and men, but only women-owned businesses are eligible for our grants. But yeah, at the core of who we are, we're an education organization, and we just want female-led businesses to just be better. So we provide support for women entrepreneurs through, again, entrepreneurial training. We do some financial education. That's what I focus on. So how to be a better business owner, how to manage money a little bit better, business counseling and access to capital. And access to resources and access to capital is what I focus on. Again, we have individual classes, so sort of one-off classes on really any entrepreneurial topic that you can sort of think of. We have multi-session and series classes. That's what you had mentioned around business planning, strategy, marketing, whatever. We have individual one-on-one advising. So if you want to go on our website, you can register as a client and sign up for a one-on-one counseling session free of charge. And then we also have a e-learning library. We have learned that many entrepreneurs do their sort of extracurricular learning outside of their business at like 1 a.m. So if that's you and you want to learn something at 1 a.m, we have a lot of content on our e-learning library. So that is a great resource that we're really proud of. So my area of expertise and the work I do mostly at WBDC is around helping women-led businesses get capital to grow, right? Most of that capital is through debt financing, which we can go over a little bit, but there are other ways to grow your business through capital acquisition, and we're going to talk a little bit about that today. So I will tell you all the ways that I know to get capital, but I want to give you a little bit of pre-work. And there is really no reliable, credible, sustainable funding source that you will get for your business without having addressed these 4 things first. So I just wanted to give you like a little bit of pre-work, things to think about. Again, unless you have some rich aunt or uncle who's just going to throw money at your business with no questions asked. Any capital acquisition that you have for your business is going to have some version of this. So I just wanted to give you guys, again, a little bit of pre-work and things to think about. So the first is a strong personal credit score. So this is really around loans and debt financing for your business. No matter if you're a startup, if you've been in business for 2 years, 5 years, 20 years, it's very rare that as the business owner, you are going to acquire any sort of debt financing without having to co-sign on that loan. right? And so your credit score is going to be dependent upon getting that loan, getting a good interest rate for that loan or whatever. So, I can walk through in a separate conversation. You can reach out to me via email, but just making sure that your credit score is as good as it can possibly be. It's not hard or complicated. It's just really about having a plan and being repetitive and a little bit boring and paying your bills and, things like that. But you really do have to address your personal credit score in any kind of situation that you're going to be acquiring outside capital. A robust business plan with financials. Now, this is not something that you need to have like a 700-page business plan and 250 pages of financials. You can do what you need to do in, 10 pages, double spaced, right? It doesn't need to be anything too crazy. We have a class to help people, write a good business plan, but really all this is asking you to do is take all of those good ideas that you have in your brain and put them on paper, right? So that somebody who doesn't know you, love you, live with you, work in your business, can read something and understand what it is that you're looking to achieve, right? And where you see the business going. And really it's about kind of putting on paper your vision so that you can have a dialogue with somebody else about what they see in your business, what you aspire to or whatever. So again, this is like the question I get asked the most, like how long does it need to be? It does not need to be that long. Again, I've seen really good business plans in 10 pages, right? And the pages aren't always sometimes full. So you can Google business plans, you can work with WBDC or another organization, but there's really no credible lending source that you're going to come across that isn't going to ask you in some way, shape, or form like about your business. And so this is a great thing to have. I thought it went without saying, but I actually now have to say it. You actually have to have a business, right? And registered with the state, right? A lot of people will start businesses and they'll do some things on the side. They'll sell at farmers markets. They'll have a couple of clients. They'll do some consulting, whatever. All of those are great. But the birth certificate of your business, and your business doesn't really start to age until you actually register your business with the state and the government and the federal government, right? So you're paying taxes, you're declaring revenue, things like that. Again, it's like the birth certificate for your business. So for a lot of businesses, they start as kind of a side hustle. They start as like, making something or serving a client population in a kind of a nights and weekends way. That's great. But if you're looking for any capital acquisition for your business to grow, you're going to need to have that sort of business birth certificate, right? And what is that? That's actually like starting your business and registering it, right? It's very simple. It's very easy. It's very inexpensive. And again, it sort of starts the clock on how old your business is. And then the last thing is sort of a clear and accurate financial picture of your business. I'm not here to advocate for any specific software or whatever. But QuickBooks seems to be the one that, most people use, but there are others out there. You have to be able to take all of the financial information about your business and put it somewhere. So you can just run very simple reports, very simple, right? That just says about the financial health of your business. Again, there's really no reliable funding source that I know of that is going to give you money without asking like, hey, how's your business been doing? Or what's the vision for your business? What are you thinking, right? So, QuickBooks and other software make it really easy to, link your business accounts to, a piece of software that will run these reports for you. You don't need to be an accountant. You don't even need to be good with numbers. You just need to know how to set up some software. So these are 4 things. Again, if you don't really know how much money you need, if you're not really sure where you're going to get the money from, if you're just still thinking about it, that you can do right now and start, like if you're like me, just ticking the box for, for things to do in anticipation of needing money for your business. So the next sort of thing are some questions that you should ask yourself. So you're going to do this work, and this is actually like box checking exercises. The next slide are some things that you can think about, over a glass of wine, a cup of tea, and just sort of be kind of thinking and wrapping your brain around. So a lot of people will come to me and they'll say like, I need money for my business. And my first question is like, well, how much do you need? And if they can tell me how much they need and they've sort of thought it through, like that's great, right? They might be right, they might be wrong, but they've thought it through. They've put a little bit of effort in. They kind of know what they're going to do with the money. I also see people all the time that are like, I just need money. And I'm like, well, that's not going to get you anything, because I'll give you, here's $10. There's money, right? Is that enough? Not really, right? Here's $1 million. Like, is that too much money, right? So these are some 4 questions that you really need to think about when you're thinking about how much money to take for your business. Because again, even if you use crowdfunding or friends and family or whatever, you're probably gonna owe some sort of interest rate back. You're probably gonna have to repay the debt for more than you've taken, right? So we want to just kind of think about how much is an appropriate amount to take. And you don't, especially in today's interest rate environment with the way that finance is going now, you don't want to just take a bunch of money and have like a slush fund laying around, right? Because that's getting really expensive, right? Will it be in a couple of years? I don't know. But right now, you know, debt financing is not cheap, or at least not as inexpensive as it used to be. So the 4 questions, and these would go in your business plan, but these are also things that you can have a dialogue with a finance person is, what are you planning for the use of funds? Like, be specific and be realistic, right? What do you want the money for, right? Tell me what you're gonna do. If you're a startup business, 2 years, and you are a service-based business, you're doing consulting or whatever, you know, to say, and you've got revenues of $50,000, that's great, good for you. But to say I need, you know, $650,000 so that I can go national, like, you've missed a few steps in the middle, right? So we just want to think about what's realistic for your business and what's healthy and natural kind of growth. Nobody is more optimistic than a business owner about the future of their business, and they should be, right? But we want to make sure that you're actually doing it in a way that's sustainable. So again, what are the use of funds? What are you going to do with the money? How does this use of funds, like that you've outlined, tie into your short or long-term vision for your business, right? So again, a lot of entrepreneurs are really excited and enthusiastic about their business. They're also a little bit guilty of bright, shiny object syndrome, right? So this new thing comes along, like, this is great, let's invest in this. That's fine, as long as it actually ties to something that you've said you wanted to invest in all along, right? You can't just have something come up that's like, you know, your next door neighbor told you about this great thing that you should be doing for your business, and now you're gonna go get money to do it. It's like, does this fit in what you want? Is this really what you see for your business? It might be a great idea, might not be a great idea for your business. So just make sure that not only are you asking for something that's realistic, but it ties in with what it is that you're trying to do, right? And don't chase good ideas, right? There are a ton of good ideas out there. They just might not be good ideas for your business. So think about that. How will you pay this money back? There are very few examples. And again, if you have a kind of a wealthy aunt, uncle who just wants to throw money at your business, like, stop watching this video, leave the room right now and go call them, right? But barring you don't have that, which is probably why you're here, there's gonna be some sort of like payback requirement, right? So you wanna think about, what are the milestones? What does your business need to achieve in order to actually meet those milestones so you can pay that capital back, right? And lastly, what is your expectations for direct revenue? So not only are you gonna be paying the money back, but you should be making money from this, right? If you're gonna be kicking money into your business, particularly in the, you know, tens of thousands of dollars, what is this going to do for your revenue? What do you project will happen? How will you grow your business, right? How will you make more money from this, right? And that's kind of what projections do, and that's a whole other class. But again, you need to think about, what are you going to do with the money? Does it fit with your business? How are you going to pay it back? And then what does the financial health of your business look like after you get the money for your business? Okay, again, there's no right answer here, there's no wrong answer here, but they definitely need to be tied for what you see the future of your business, right? So, okay, funding your business, there's like the kind of, I don't want to call it the easy way, because self-funding and getting friends and family money is not easy, but I would say it's a slightly less paperwork. There's not as much back and forth. It's a little bit faster and got a little bit less strings attached. So the sort of quickest, easiest, and way that most businesses start is through bootstrapping, so self-funding. So they will put some money on credit cards, they'll take a little bit of money out of savings, they will take some money out of retirement, you know, personal loans, you'll take a line of credit from your business, or from your you know, personal assets, you know, a HELOC from a home equity line of credit, you know, cards was meant to say credit cards. So this is really, really common. And this is why a lot of businesses start on the side, right? You're really good at marketing. You work for a marketing agency. You're going to start your own kind of side hustle. You get a couple clients. You're still working at that larger organization. It sort of morphs into what it's going to become, right? So that's all personal investment, bootstrapping, you know, small incremental investments in your business, and then reinvesting the money that you earn back into the business for growth. Okay? Again, barring this really wealthy aunt or uncle, no matter who's gonna give you money, they're gonna wanna see this, right? They're gonna wanna see that you have invested some money into your business. If you don't have the money to do it, or if you don't think it's a good idea, it's really gonna be hard for somebody else to think it's a good idea too, right? So they're gonna wanna see, what have you put in? And I don't have like a right amount, I don't have a right number for what you're gonna put in, right? For some businesses, it's $5,000. For other businesses that are very, machine oriented and very, they've got inventory and they're producing something, maybe it's 50,000. I have no idea. But relative to the amount of money that you're gonna make and the type of thing that you're doing, you're gonna wanna make sure that you put in some money and you can track it and prove it, right? So make sure that whatever money that you put in, you're keeping track of and you're willing to talk about, what you've done. Personal investment also comes with if you have a spouse or if you have shared responsibility at home financially. This is something where also a kind of a spouse or a financial partner is involved as well. So you're gonna wanna talk it over with that person. They might ask, what are you doing with this business? What is your business plan? What are you thinking? So again, some of the questions that we talked about before come in. So friends and family, this is sort of an interesting one. Once you've exhausted your own resources or you feel like you've gotten some momentum from what it is that you are doing, this is typically when you reach out to this friends and family network, right? It's a little bit of a misnomer because I don't think as many people have friends and family networks that are gonna give their businesses money as they think that they do. And so this network tends to dry up a little bit. But typically you invest money in your business, you've got some growth, you've got some sales, you're moving in the right direction. This is usually an opportunity to go to, again, a friends and family network, people who know you, have favorable opinions of you, usually don't live with you, maybe you have to see them at Thanksgiving though, so it's a little bit dicey, and will invest money in your business, okay? These people are gonna wanna know what the money is for. So all of these questions that I asked you before, you should be prepared to answer, right? And you should, when you do friends and family rounds, or when you look for friends and family money, you should be prepared to what are the terms of this? Do you wanna get paid back? How quickly? Because again, that Thanksgiving dinner gets really awkward if you've taken money from somebody and you haven't paid them back yet, or your business isn't doing well or whatever. So it's a little bit easier to get this money. There's less, like paperwork. You don't have to show the financials, but this person is in your life. In friends and family, also, I wanted to talk briefly about, people talk a lot about crowdfunding. I think people think crowdfunding is a great idea. I think it's an okay idea. The reason I think that it's a really saturated space, unless you have a business that's pulling at heartstrings, or you have an existing client base that loves your cookies or loves your marketing or whatever it is that you do, you're gonna put yourself out there on these crowdfunding platforms. You're gonna just get totally swallowed up by the hundreds and thousands of crowdfunding opportunities that are already out there. So, Kickstarter is interesting because it's usually for product-based businesses. You can sell a little bit and get some money kind of upfront for production, but crowdfunding is a little bit dicey, and so it's not always effective. Also, you don't usually get the amount that you asked for. You don't get the money unless you get all the money that you've asked for. So it's not the most reliable anyway. And then a lot of people think that they're going to get an investor, and I separate investors from friends and family because investors are usually people that, again, really are removed from you. They're not people you're going to see at Thanksgiving. Usually they're friends of friends, they're professional investors. Most businesses will have to take on some sort of debt financing first. They'll have to get some loans or whatever, which we'll talk about in a minute. But should your business be sort of investor worthy, whether it be somebody in the industry, an expertise, an angel network, some existing clients, even some competitors will invest in your business, particularly if you do something that they want. They might be an investor in your business, franchises. But I would say the vast majority of businesses that particularly service-based businesses just aren't really eligible for investors, and you should be prepared to bootstrap that, do some friends and family money, and get grants and loans as appropriate. Okay, so I won't go into too much about loans, but I think this slide is worth just showing and talking a little bit about. The vast majority of capital infusions in a business do come in the form of a loan, whether it be a personal loan, whether it be an SBA loan, like whatever it is. An SBA loan is a Small Business Administration backed loan, right? So it's a loan that you get for your business that the Small Business Administration federally will back the bank who gives you that loan. So if you, do your business for 2 years, take off to, Belize and never come back, that bank will get, made whole by the SBA. So these loans are, I would say, the vast majority of ways that people fund their business for growth. They're totally appropriate. They're great loans, and they are meant to put incremental money in the pockets of business owners for expansion. There are different loan programs. Again, I won't go into them all, but we can talk about it offline, that are for acquisition of equipment or acquisition of real estate or working capital, right? You just need $20,000 to get through a slow season or whatever. These are all appropriate, and certainly ways that the majority of people will fund their business. Regardless of whether you're going to go the small business administration or the non-small business administration route, you are going to need, a business plan, a credit score. It's a very formal kind of a process, but the banks and certainly we will work with you to get the documentation in order. And as long as you have, your financials there, and as long as you've got that business plan, there's something to talk about, and there's certainly, opportunities there. There's a ton of money out there to get. But again, you do have to do a little bit of work for it. Sort of, people think also that banks are the only place that you can get money for your business, and that just isn't true. There are banks that you and I go to, we get our, put an ATM, go to the ATM, get money out, we have a checking account, a savings account, whatever. There are a ton of, community-based lenders. They're called, CDFIs. But what they do is they invest in communities, and they have kind of evergreen funds that will invest in certain geographic communities, certain, backgrounds, immigrant, whatever they may be. And what they will do is they will take a look at your business as it pertains to the community that they're looking to support. And they will typically write loans that, the interest rates are a little bit, they vary. But they are really based on, again, the communities that they serve. So a lot of the times, if you're looking to open up a business in, here in Darien, and there is a shortage of, manufacturing businesses here, and the community has said, we want to attract manufacturing businesses or whatever, one of these community foundations or one of these CDFIs will be more inclined to loan to somebody who is filling a gap in a community that's been identified. Also, these lenders are much more amenable to typically underrepresented entrepreneurs. So women, minorities, LGBTQ, whatever, so that typically underrepresented entrepreneurs can receive funding and grow and start their businesses. So these are really nice ways to do it. There's a ton of them out there. I listed a couple, HEDCO, CEDF, CIC, there's, acronym salad, but they all are out there. And again, you probably haven't heard of them because they don't have drive up ATMs that you would go and get money from, right? They're not the main street banks that you and I know, but they are looking for, and their goal is to invest in communities that they serve. There are other sort of financial institutions, if you've heard of lenders for inventory loans, investors we've talked about a little bit, but these are lenders who will specifically focus on lending you money for a thing, and inventory loans are the biggest one. So if you're a business who has to buy a lot of inventory in August to sell at Christmas time or the holiday season, a lot of these inventory lenders will give you a loan, right, with your inventory as collateral, right, that you can get through those 4 months while you're carrying that merchandise, for the holiday season. These loans are, specifically meant for that. The interest rates vary, but there are kind of those special situations out there that we can talk about, and you can certainly reach out to me to meet the need. So SBA loans aren't only it. SBA loans aren't really great for inventory because they're usually a longer duration. Some of these inventory opportunities are better. Again, they'll cover your inventory costs for a few months, and then you pay them back when you kind of sell everything at the holiday season. Point of sale loans, the second that you register with the state, the second that you get some type of point of sale software, you are now on the radar of these people to get loans. I have to say, I don't love them, right? And the reason is if you get Square, for example, and I don't mean to like pick on one, but that's kind of the biggest one. If you get Square and they can see your cash flows, right? They see what's coming in via credit card, they can kind of see what you're doing at the farmer's market or whatever. They will a lot of the times issue you sort of like cash advances or loans to float you during times when your business is, you know, less profitable or is in a down cycle. These loans are typically really expensive, and they take part of your profits in the future, right? So they make you less profitable. If a outside company sees that you need money before you do and is soliciting you for loans or whatever for your business, it's dicey, usually expensive. If it's too quick, if it's too easy, if they're gonna drop money in your account, that they already have access to because they're your point of sale provider, I don't love it. So I think that there are a lot of opportunities if you get ahead of some of the lending. You can get much better rates. You're not locked in the same way, but these do exist and you will get all the time, again, PayPal, Square, whatever, saying, here's a loan for you. It just gets a little bit dicey. So we talked a little bit about creative ways, we talked a little bit about loans, but now, you know, there are creative ways in addition to crowdfunding and some loans and some investors and friends and family. Grants are certainly one of them. That's the biggest question I get is how can I get a grant from the business? Grant is typically free-ish money. It's not totally strings, you know, no strings attached, but if you can get a grant for your business, great. These are the WBDC grants that we have going on, and our Launchpad grant and is kind of always going on. And then our Ignite grant is now until the March 14th, but it'll be open again in the spring, in the fall. But what I'll say about grants in general is that they're very competitive. Everybody wants a grant before they get a loan, obviously, right? Because it's no interest and it's cheaper, freer money. Typically grants are of a lower dollar value. So I get a lot of people that need like $40,000 to grow their business. They need to buy a piece of equipment or whatever. It's really hard to find grants for $40,000, right? You're going to get 5,000, 10,000. There's a couple out there might be 15, maybe 20, but you're not going to get that sort of like big capital infusion in your business. You know, also these grants are usually for something, right? So you can't just get grants for like working capital to get you through your slow season. They want to see an investment in your business for growth, right? Usually these grants are tied to a community in which your business is located, a industry in which you work in, a community in which you serve, right? So it's not just like blanket, like, you know, making it rain with like grants. Usually there's something about you and your business that makes you eligible. It also means that there's something about other people's businesses that also make them eligible, right? There's a little bit of work usually for grants. You have to submit, you know, an application, talk a little bit about your business, talk about what you want to do with the money. But again, they're great options. And right now there's a few grants eligible or available in Connecticut, you know, for different types of businesses, and we can go over those, you know, on a one-on-one conversation. But here's ours right now. We have a Launchpad grant that is $2,500. It's for people starting up businesses. It's a great opportunity to fund, again, a startup. There is some requirements around attending some classes and getting some education from us, and doing a small pitch night. But, you know, again, these are things you should be doing anyway. So to get $2,500 for it is great. We have an Ignite grant right now, which is for existing businesses. Again, this is until March 14th, and it's $10,000 for a growth project. So for women-owned businesses, majority women-owned businesses, and all of the information on that is on our website. If you're a childcare provider, we have a totally separate stream of grants for childcare providers, and I would encourage you to look on our website and also reach out to childcare business at ctwbdc.org. So we've got startup grants for childcare businesses, we've got expansion grants, and we've got emergency grants. And the goal here is to always increase the number of slots for children in childcare so that parents can get back to work. So what's next? You know, definitely, we have all of our class listings here. If you have any interest in, you know, any other topic around, you know, entrepreneurship, please check out our class listings. We have a ton on financing your business. We have a ton on doing projections and financials and like all the stuff that you need. You know, please have a look at that. If you want to schedule a one-on-one meeting with me, just email info@ctwbdc.org. If you're already a client of WBDC, you can just log into your portal and, schedule a meeting with me or one of our other advisors. If you are not, existing a client of WBDC, you can, become one for free. And again, most of our resources are free of charge, including one-on-one business advising. And we can walk through kind of what your financing needs are for your business. We can walk through what your use of funds would be and some of the creative ways that you can fund your business, again, through, a number of different means. There's also some crowdfunding loan opportunities that are available. They're kind of interesting with like kiva.org and another company called Honeycomb. So we can talk through those. Most of the answers that I'll give when people do Q&A and classes is like, it depends. It really just depends on what your business is and what you're looking for. But there's no shortage of opportunities out there for really affordable and strategic funding for your business. Right? They're never easy. If they seem too easy, don't do it. But there's certainly ways that you can really grow your business in a really strategic and great way. So thanks. If you have any questions, let me know.
That was great.
Thanks. Yeah. Yeah, they're out there. The opportunities are out there.
So those grants, are there multiple $2,500 and $10,000 grants? Okay.
Yeah. So last round, so the Launchpad grants are, again, you have to take a class, and at the end you do like a pitch, whatever the class was about, you have to present the outcome of that class, right? So if you do a marketing plan class, you have to sort of present your marketing plan. If you do a strategic document, you have to present that to a pitch panel, and then sort of whoever does a good job and has attended the class and is showing interest and has a viable business has a good shot at getting the grant. The last cycle that we did for the Ignite grant, which formerly was called EMG or Equity Match Grant, but now it's called Ignite, we gave away or awarded, I should say, like 48 grants. So out of like 100 and some, 100 and I don't know how many.
Mhm.
So it's, if you put forth a good effort and you think about it and you answer some of the questions that I kind of addressed, and you've got your financials in order, it's a very attainable grant out there.
And where is your funding coming from
For the grant or in general?
for the grant?
So about 4 years ago, we wanted to do this, and in the pandemic, we realized we needed to put more money in the wallets of women-owned businesses. And so we went to the state and said, like, can you help us?
Mhm.
And they said, private fundraise for it, and we'll match whatever it is that you've got. So the kitty is up to a few $1 million now, and most of that funding has come through banks, and they want to give to this fund because they have, community development that they want to achieve, and they want to have, an economic impact in the communities. So some of it is private donors, some of it's corporations, a bunch of it is banks, and then it's been matched dollar for dollar by the state.
Very cool.
Yeah. So I don't have like a crystal ball, and I know that this is like recorded, so like if you're watching this in 2027, like it's probably not real, but it is now March 2024. We have money in the kitty to do this for a while. So barring anything crazy happening, these grants will be around for a while. So if you're ready now, and if you can put it together a good application by March 14th, great. If you're watching this, recording after that, we're gonna have another one in the fall. And then we'll do it sort of a, late winter, early fall cycle going forward. So 2 times a year. So it's great. And there are other organizations that have grants as well. HEDCO is one, New Haven Community Foundation. So they're out there. They're competitive, but they're out there. And you can definitely check the websites or talk to me.
And so the classes that are offered for the Launchpad, what kind of classes are they?
Yeah, so there's 4 of them. Yeah, there's 4 of them. And to be eligible for Launchpad, you have to be in business under 2 years.
Yeah.
Right? And by 2 years is that birth certificate I talked about. So if you've been doing something on the side unregistered by the state for 10 years, but you just registered, it starts with like that registration birth certificate. So the classes, there's 4. One is a business concept class, which is the outcome of that is a 2-page, is this business viable? What are you thinking? What are we really going to do with this business document, right? So it's kind of the 100 level, if you will. There's a business plan writing class, which then takes your business concept and really puts it into a formalized business plan. And there's pieces of software associated with that helps you kind of write that business plan, which is great. There's a marketing class that the outcome of that is a multi-page, multi-pronged marketing plan. And then there's another one that is in conjunction with a bank called Liberty Bank that does Academy for Small Business. And that is more of a, crash course in business, right? So it's not only the business plan, it's not so much on the business plan, but it's, what do you need to know and things like that. So those are the 4. And they're offered, quarterly-ish. The marketing one, I think, is offered 3 times a year, not quarterly. But the business concept clinic, which is that 2-page strategy document, and the GPS guide to plan for success business plan writing is a quarterly opportunity. So if you have any questions, you can go to our website or you can email me about it. They're great. I mean, I think the grant is a great outcome for that, but you also get a business plan. You've written a business plan, so it's
documents you need.
yeah, you really do. I mean, we give you what you need to be successful in your business. And also our grants application process closely mirrors, it's a little easier, but closely mirrors like an SBA loan or some of the community partner loans. So once you've done some of the work for us, what we're really proud of is people get grants from us, and then they'll be eligible for loans because they've got most of the documents together, they've learned how to do it, and they can go, if it's appropriate for them in their business, they can go forward with a loan. So it's great. Yeah, so there's no shortage of money out there if you are creative and figure it out. But what I will say is you got to have a plan, you've got to convince somebody, right? And so you've got to have your ducks in a row. You've got to be really thinking about how best to sell your business to whoever it is that you want to get buy-in from. And you've got to put a little money in yourself somehow, whether it be sweat equity, something. I get a lot of people asking me about startup grants, and I don't have any money to fund my business, but I need money for it. And I'm like, it kind of doesn't quite work that way, which is why the majority of businesses, particularly service-based, start as a side hustle while people are doing some type of full-time or part-time job, and it'll kind of morph into what it's going to become. So sweat equity counts.